Here's a crazy story. The worst nightmare of some people just happened to this man. What if you are picked up based on an ICE officer being convinced that you're a gang member? You have legal immigration status to be here in the United States, but you are locked up and deported without seeing a judge, and you're sent off to a prison for terrorists which is located outside the United States. On March 12, 2025, this man called Abrego-Garcia, he's a Salvadoran national who lives in the state of Maryland. He was detained and mistakenly deported to El Salvador as part of the Aragua supposed gang members, and this was due to an administrative error by ICE. So since 2019, Abrego-Garcia, he has had some type of legal protection here called withholding of removal. People who are granted withholding of removal, which was previously called withholding of deportation, they have a similar status to asylees, and they are granted withholding of removal by an immigration judge because of a threat to life or freedom in their home country due to race, religion, nationality, membership in a particular social group, or political opinion. If you are granted withholding of removal, you can live in the US indefinitely and you can get a work permit as long as you remain here. You can continue to renew your work permit based on being granted withholding of removal. So upon arrival in El Salvador, this man, he was incarcerated or locked up in El Salvador's CECOT. It's a notorious center for terrorism confinement prison, and it's noted for its very harsh conditions. So ICE has acknowledged the mistake, stating that it was an oversight during the deportation process, and they are also saying that the agency lacks authority to bring Abrego-Garcia back since he's no longer in US custody. Abrego-Garcia's wife, she's a US citizen, and she identified her husband based on his tattoos and head scars while she was following a news article with a picture of detainees who were entering El Salvador's prison, CECOT. She's suing the Trump administration and asking that a federal judge will order the government to return her husband back from El Salvador to the United States. Unfortunately, the Department of Justice lawyers are saying that there's little they can do to get him back from El Salvador, and they are also asking the judge who's overseeing the case to reject the family's petition, saying that the Trump administration cannot make the Salvadoran government release this man. This incident is exactly what we've been talking about. Going through court prevents the government from making mistakes based on certain signs. So if somebody's supposed to be deported and they go through court, they have the chance to show why they should not be deported, or why they have the right to be in the United States, or how they've been granted protection from deportation. I can imagine that this man probably kept shouting that he had withholding of removal, probably kept shouting that he's not a gang member, but no one listened, or no one maybe even believed him. The case shows us that there's the need for due process in immigration proceedings to prevent wrongful deportations and their severe consequences. What are your thoughts on this story? Share them below. Bye.